Presented by Raytheon, making the world a safer place.
Whatever are we going to do with that amazing graphic? Because this is our final installment of Campaign 2018 election hacking.
The music's good too.
The music's awesome. It's one of my favorite graphics that we have at CBSN. Today we're looking at how the Department of Homeland Security is preparing to deal with urgent threats on Election Day. According to a Boston Globe article, federal agencies logged more than 160 reports of suspected meddling since August 1st, and they've only increased in recent weeks. In a statement, the CBS News, a spokesperson for the department, wrote, "While we are aware of cyber actors targeting election infrastructure, the tactics used in these activities are common and not unique to election systems. To be clear, we have not attributed any of this activity to a nation state, nor do we have any reason to believe it to be part of a broader campaign."
Today, the agency is setting up a virtual war room to help quickly communicate and respond to potential cybersecurity challenges. It involves partners from the FBI, state and local election officials, and representatives from the Democratic and Republican national committees. So for more on this, we want to bring in CNET senior producer Dan Patterson, and you've been basically covering this for weeks now for us, the potential for hacking. So the Department of Homeland Security confirms that hackers are in fact targeting election networks across the country. Can you explain what those attacks look like, though?
Yeah, what's important in that statement is the component where they said this is not a part of a larger campaign and they haven't detected nation-state activity. That doesn't mean that nation-states aren't trying to attack election systems, but look, 139 million people voted in the last general election. There's a lot of people going to the polls, and we have a lot of people watching our election security process. So what DHS was talking about there are primarily database attacks against election systems. We say database, we can get pretty wonky and talk about SQL injection. That brings us into the tech weeds, but really what they're trying to do is meddle with the rows and columns of voters who are registered, the party affiliation, that kind of thing, and maybe inserting junk data. But when they say this is not part of a broader campaign, they probably mean that this is something that we see no matter what, all the time, everywhere. And one of the refrains we've said over and over and over again, that if it's digital, it can be hacked and probably will be hacked. So I have a lot of faith and confidence in not just DHS, but in state, federal, and local municipalities who are watching this with a keen eye.
Is this kind of what we saw, the attempted possibility of a hacking in Georgia? Does that kind of fall into that category?
What happened in Georgia, the allegations of what happened in Georgia, had no evidence associated with them. So this falls in the category of, look, we need to sniff this out, we need to make sure there is nothing going on, but this seems far more like a political tactic than a real attempt to mess with an election database. It turns out that the claims were, well, somebody from DHS did visit the website, so it showed up in our logs. But what they claimed was, yeah, maybe databases can be meddled with. Yes, of course databases can be meddled with. But once again, the claims in Georgia, we want to tamp down any fear. Those were political allegations without evidence.
So as the votes come in, what are you looking for?
We're looking at a couple things. We are definitely looking at databases. We are definitely looking at voting machines and voting systems because those can be hacked. However, tonight and through the afternoon, I'm primarily looking at social media influence campaigns. Facebook yesterday once again said that they found evidence of more influence campaign content. There is some debate on the effectiveness of influence campaigns, but we certainly saw that it energized votes in 2016. We see that once you receive hundreds or thousands of inbound messages with certain propaganda techniques involved with the rhetoric, that it can repress certain segments of the population. So we're keeping a keen eye on social media as well as the other technical components of election hacking.
So throughout this whole series, you have talked to all kinds of experts in this area. Ultimately, are these experts comfortable and confident that everyone's vote will be counted, it will be counted accurately, and this election will be safe?
Anne-Marie, Vlad, I want to say this with the most amount of seriousness. When you go to the polls, you can be confident that your vote will be counted. This is incredibly important. We need to look at vulnerabilities. We need to think about hacking as a very real and serious threat. But every single person we spoke with, not just on the record, we spoke with over a dozen people that we interviewed here and that we played some of their comments. More than that, I spoke with people off the record, on background. Every single one of those people said, yes, I have full confidence my vote will be counted. These are people who range from the FBI to some of the world's largest tech firms, including Facebook, or including Google and Microsoft. These are people who work in election security in states like Florida, Georgia, Colorado, California. Everyone said, yes, I have confidence that my vote will be counted, and you should vote too.
All right, Dan, thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Thank you.